Hello my beautiful crafty friends. So today I'm going to try something that I haven't tried before, but we are going to experiment and see if it works. I just got this chakra mold. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. There's a very subtle pattern to each of these, the chakra symbol on the back side of each of these. So the only thing I don't like about this mold is that the chakras are not in the right order. So I have put little color things on the back side, just so I know which order they're supposed to go in. So my plan is to use some UV resin and to put a little bit of mica powder in each of the corresponding colors. I'm using all Naked Fusion mica powders. And then I've got little tiny butterflies that I have cut out to kind of like fit inside the mold. So I'm going to do a little thin layer of resin, put the mica powder on, another thin layer of resin, the butterflies, and then a top coat of clear resin. And we're gonna see how we go. So I've got a couple very fluffy brushes to brush the mica powder. I've got a little silicone tool to help with the resin. I'm using Let's Resin UV resin today. Got my UV light and some gloves and my respirator for when the resin is curing. The butterflies are all from AliExpress. I don't have the packaging still, but this is what they look like. So it says that they're stickers. They're not actually stickers. They're just kind of clear backed, transparent kind of things, but they're super cute and I love them, and I've actually used them a few times in crafts. And yeah, okay, so I'm gonna get my gloves on and get my resin lamp going, my UV lamp going, and let's get started. You might hear Zuri crying a little bit because I don't let him in here obviously when I'm using resin for their little lungs, and so he's upset that he is locked out of the studio. Okay, so first I'm just going to put a small layer of resin in each one. I'm going to do a few at a time, and then I'll come back when this layer is cured. Okay, so now I'm going to add the Naked Fusion mica powders. So red is the root chakra. I don't have an actual red, I only have this copper red. So we're going to go with it because it's the only one that I got. I think I might mix a little bit of this Let's Resin Chameleon powder in magenta with the copper red. I think I might do that. Okay, so let's get just a little bit on the brush. I'm not going to need very much. I've already got too much. Okay, let's kind of mix a little bit of the magenta in with it. See if we can't get a pretty color. And let's see how much of a mess we can make. Okay, so I want this to be fairly subtle because I'm going to be putting in the butterflies and I want them to stand out, so this isn't going to be like super crazy colorful. Okay, so just a subtle color. And now I'm going to clean this off a little bit and we'll go with the orange, which is the sacrum. So I've got some Naked Fusion citrus. Okay, and the orange is way over here. Okay, perfection. And then next is a yellow for the solar plexus. So we're going with Naked Fusion Liquid Sun. I'm doing it in layers because I kind of want there to be like a little bit of dimension between the color and the butterflies themselves, so we'll see how we go. Next is green for the Heart Chakra, so I'm using Naked Fusion Moss. Okay, and next we have got the Throat Chakra, which is kind of like a tealy blue, like a lighter blue. And then the third eye is kind of like it's like an indigo, and each time I'm just kind of like blowing away the extra that I've got on here. Then lastly, the crown chakra is like a purpley magenta. So I'm using lilac. I mean, it looks pretty so far. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but just the colors themselves are very pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to do another thin coat of resin and cure it, and then I'm going to put my butterflies in. Okay, second layer of resin is done, and now we are going to add these cute little mariposa butterflies. And so I'm going to put them all in, and then I will resin on top. I've cut the corners of some of them to make sure that they fit properly. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to do one more thin coat on top. And, oh shoot, one more thin coat on top, and we'll cure that, and then we'll see what we've got. And I've got a cat hair, story of my life. Okay, so I'm just going to go around these with a silicone. Oh, there's still another one. There we go. I'm going to go around these just to make sure they're kind of even. Oh my gosh, how many are there? Oh, maybe that's a me hair, not a cat hair. Okay, so I will be back in a couple minutes as soon as these are all cured. Okay, so it's time to unmold these beauties. I really hope that they turned out. Let's see. I might have to do some kind of something on the back because you can't really see the symbol very well. I might see if I can't make that a little bit more prominent, but we'll see. Okay, so cute. Wow, the butterflies look amazing in them. I'm quite pleased with that. Oh, I got a little bit extra. I am going to have to sand all of these around the edges because there is a little bit of overhang on a few of them. But they look very cute. Yeah, I don't know if that symbol is like showing up at all. I don't think so on the camera anyway. You can see it in real life, but it's not super prominent. That one's got a big overhang. All right, well, I love that the color is not like super crazy. I wanted it to be light, and that's exactly what I got, so I'm glad for that. Yeah, I think they turned out pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of sand all the edges and see if I can't make the symbol on the back a little bit more prominent. Okay, so first I'm going to get my Dremel and sand around all of the edges. So I started using my Dremel, but then it was a little bit too loud and a little bit too aggressive. So I switched to this. This is actually for feet, for like feet calluses, and it's just got like a sanding pad on the end and just plugs in, and it's a little bit less aggressive. And so I found that using it actually works fantastic for just going around the edge. This also works really good for polymer clay, I've discovered. And so I'm just going around the edge and getting it all the sharp edge all nice and smooth. Okay, that feels pretty good. All right, let's just give that a little wipe. Okay, so here they are in order. So pretty. So now I'm going to use a drill to punch holes in each of them, and I'm going to kind of hang them together like this with a little bit of chain in between, and yeah, we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to drill some holes. Okay, so I did decide to go in with some wax and I rubbed it in really, really well and then wiped off the excess. And because this is indented, you can see it now. So yay! So I'm just using some Art Alchemy metallic wax. This is aged brass, and I'm just putting a little bit on my finger and then going over the back of the symbol and just really rubbing it in there, making sure it gets into all of the crevices. Just like that. And then just taking a dry cloth and just wiping off all of the excess. I do find it's easier if it's flat on a surface. So just kind of going over the top of it so everything that's recessed stays in there, and then everything else comes off. And then you can see the symbol. Yay! So I'm just doing that for all of them. I will have to seal these afterwards now that there's some wax in there. So pretty. Okay, and the last one. And then I'm going to put them together into like a hangy thingy thing. Yay. I like it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I used some Deco Art Triple Thick to seal the wax on the back side of these, and I've started to put them together with some wire. So I've just got some copper wire here, and I'm just going to show you. It took me a little while, so I'm just going to show you the last couple that I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to take about, I don't know, like 2 to 3 inches of wire. And I'm going to put it through the hole that I drilled. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to show you this. Okay, so I've got about 2 inches on one side, 1 inch on this side. I'm going to bend them so they cross over. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take some needle nose pliers, and I'm just going to put that long tail at a 90-degree angle in like the center of the thickness of my resin piece. I'm going to take some round nose pliers, and I'm going to rotate the small end so that it forms a loop and kind of meets up in the middle with that long tail. And then I'm going to wrap the long tail around this loop. So you want your first wrap to be as close to the resin as possible. And each time you make a little loop, we're just going to give it a little squeeze with some flat nose pliers. And then we're going to make another loop. We're going to do like 3 or 4. And you want the loops to be right up against each other. And each time just give it a little squeeze. Press them together. So I'm just going to make 3 or 4 loops. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm just going to trim off the end of the tail once you've got up 3 or 4 loops and it feels secure. And then kind of just press that in so it's nice and snug. Okay, and there you've got yourself a loop. So then for the next one, we're going to take the same length of wire and put it through the top of the next resin piece and start it the same way. So fold both of those so they're almost parallel. Bring the long tail up at a 90-degree angle, if I can get a hold of it. There we go. Okay, and then going to use the round nose pliers to make a loop with the small tail. But before you close it completely, we are going to hook it into the circle of the first one. Okay, and then kind of, I'm going to turn this around so I can, right-handed, so this is easier for me. And oops. Then I'm going to pinch that closed and do the same thing, wrapping the long tail around that loop, getting the loops or the wraps as close to each other, like right up against each other, and give them a little squeeze each time. Now, I do not profess to be an expert wire wrapper, but I have done a little bit in the past, so yeah, let's give it a go. Okay, so I've got 3 there. I'm going to do 1 more. And just kind of pinching it down and then trimming off the end of that tail. Okay, pinching it closed. All right, so now these are all together. So here's, so hard to show. Okay, so we've got the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, and then I've just got a chain attached to the top here to hang it. And then on the back side, I am so happy with the way this turned out. I think it is gorgeous, and I'm definitely going to be hanging it in my window. So yeah, there it is. It's quite long. It's hard to get the whole thing in frame here, but yeah, I love it, and I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. And I love that it's like really quite double-sided, so when you flip the whole thing over, it's got like a whole other vibe to it. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Here, I'm gonna kind of do this in a little roundabout so maybe you can see it all at the same time. There we go. Yay! I'm so pleased. So there it is. I'm going to post some pictures of this on my Instagram so that you can maybe see it a little bit in more detail. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you'll give this a shot. I mean, I had no idea what was going to happen, and I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. So yay. And if you'd like to see some wire wrapping tutorials, let me know in the comments, and I can do some simple wire wraps and weaves for you. All right, love you all, sending you huge hugs, and I will see you again very soon.